Good afternoon, everybody.
All right, we're good. In the regular season game against the Packers, Sherman did a nice job covering Davante Adams, but Sherman is kept in just one side of the field. Is there any plans that he will follow Davante Adams, whether Adams go from left to right or anything like that, or Sherman will be kept in the same side of the field as always?
Not to get too much into schematics, but we have a philosophy on how we operate around here, and that doesn't mean we don't look at every possible avenue, but I'll stay away from that one. I'm sorry.
So tough to defend, and how do you feel you defended him the first time?
He's very strong. He's a very good route runner. He's got great hands. He's got a subtlety to him where he's really good in double moves. He just kind of lulls you to sleep, but he's savvy, and him and Aaron have a really good relationship. They got a good rapport with one another, so they're very comfortable. They know where each other's going to be. So just the whole combination of the routes they have for him and all the different things they ask him to do, it's a good match, and he's very talented. So.
Kello and Emmanuel got to play almost equal snaps in the last game against Green Bay. How much did that help in making your decision who would start this week?
Looking at everything, letting them go through the week and competing and doing all those things. So as we get closer, we'll be able to have a decision.
Back and look at the Green Bay game. Do you look like you did just about everything perfectly? Were there things that were trouble issues? How did that result?
No, there's always things that no matter what it looks like, I promise they're looking at some clips on tape where they know that they could have hit us on. There's clips in the past, our previous opponents, where we've left some windows open for quarterbacks and coordinators to be able to go exploit. So we've got to be very, very aware. That's part of our system. Be very aware of what you're putting on tape and what offenses can do to you and what they're actually looking for, and find a way to clog those holes without disrupting what you do philosophically.
How important is Jimmy Ward to the fact that you guys have been so good at not allowing explosive plays in the passing game?
Jimmy's versatility, I don't know if there's, I don't want to blur it, but there's not a lot of free safeties like him who is an exceptional cover guy, along with the range he has in the middle of the field and his ability to do different things and the instinctiveness that he plays with, the physicality that he plays with. Knock on wood for him. We've always said that if he could stay healthy, people will recognize how special he is, and he's just got to continue staying the course, keep taking care of his body, keep doing the things he's doing, but having his versatility is always an asset.
You mentioned the physicality. How difficult is it for him to avoid those illegal hits on some of those bigger hits that he does have?
I think Joe Woods and Daniel Bullocks do a phenomenal job continually harp. We talk about the strike zone below the neck, above the knees. Leading with your shoulder, leverage side tackling, so you're not getting your head involved. We're always near side shoulder. I think it just goes with the overall philosophy on how we tackle, keeping your head out of the game and understanding your aiming points. And a guy like Jimmy who can move at the speed he does and to be able to target the way he does without creating penalties is special. That's what makes him unique.
How has your defensive line grown in terms of rushing together throughout the course of the year, understanding how each other works and things like that?
They've Cecile does a great job with those guys, and there is no stone left unturned with that group. Now they've had some, we've had some turnover on the D line, so it has taken a little bit of time. But you could see that they are very comfortable with each other. There is a very clear style to the way they're pass rushing and what they're being asked to do, and so they continue to get better. And it's not too late in the season, like we talked about today. It's not too late in the season to continue to get better, and so just approaching every practice with that intent. So when you get the game day, you're playing at peak performance.
You mentioned Cecile. He's working with a lot of talent, obviously, in that line. But what does he do to maximize that and get a lot out of it?
Philosophically, for our defense, we've talked about it up here. You as a football coach, it's our responsibility to eliminate all gray area for the player, so he can just go play. And Cecile has a very, very specific way he teaches. It clears up all the gray area, and and when you can put a player into black and white, it just allows them to go fast because they know what's being asked of them. And his ability to be detailed, clear all the gray, and really teach and drill everything that's going to happen to him on game day is what makes him a very, very good football coach.
Joe Staley said after the game on Saturday, talking about the defensive line, that D Ford is sort of the key that unlocks everything. Do you know what he means, and can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, when you've got, try to do this as best I can in layman's terms, but when you got a speed guy like D Ford. It's very hard for that left tackle or right tackle, whichever one, whoever he's lining up on, to be able to hang in there and not honor that speed off the edge. Because if you hesitate for a second with D Ford, he's gone off the edge and it's over. So it just puts those tackles in a little bit more, gives them a little bit more sense of an urgency to get back in their protection. When that happens, it opens up that B gap. And so when there's space created for that offensive line, now you're getting those guys on islands, and it just creates a lot of one-on-ones for those guys. And so when you're looking at Buck and Armstead, who are just massive human beings who are more power rushers, the more space, the better. And so with Bosa and Ford, when they can create all that space for those guys, it just makes those guys even better on the inside.
Robert, Kyle admits that he can be tough on coaches, maybe especially tough on you, just because it's offense versus defense. Did you know, having known him in Houston, did you expect that? Or have you had to kind of adjust to that?
Give that to me one more time. I'm sorry.
Kyle admits that he's tough on his coaches.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's there's a difference between attacking and challenging, and Kyle is phenomenal at challenging his coaches to always achieve more. I've been around coaches who attack people and they get nothing. Kyle's the art and Kyle's way of the way he coaches is he challenges you to do more than and look beyond the box, look outside the box, look outside what you're comfortable with, so you can continually get better. Much different than the tone that a lot of coaches that I've been around, where they just attack you and demean you for one reason or another. So it's fully expected from Kyle. He's been that way his entire career. He expects greatness, and you're not being great unless you're challenging yourself. And that's hopefully I'm answering your question, but just Kyle knowing him that long.
Evolved over these 3 years?
Yeah, I would like to think so. You know, just from a trust standpoint and understanding, so we can learn how to communicate with one another better. There's always that we've always known of each other, obviously, and we've always been around each other and we've always hung out. But when you get into the football world, being able to communicate with one another and understanding how he sees the game versus how I see the game, and being able to mesh those two together so we can have a good, solid conversation. Yeah, that's always happening.
In your experience, is it a blessing or a curse to face a team a second time around, especially after having success?
I don't know. It's I've been on both ends. I think 2013 we beat the brakes off of New Orleans on Monday Night Football in Seattle, and then they came into the division round and it went down to the wires. I've been on teams where we'd lost badly 2 times in a row, and vice versa. So every game is independent of itself, and you look at stuff obviously, but you take the approach that every game is independent, and you attack each game as its own championship moment, and you prepare the best you can, and you let the chips fall where they may.
Can you talk about the relationship between Kyle and John? You've seen other tandems on other teams.
Yeah, so Kyle and John, very similar. You know, I'm just speaking from past experience with Pete and John Snyder. You know, the working relationship they have is phenomenal. You can tell that they're locked at the hip. Even in the event they may disagree, it is a very respectful conversation. They really do a good job uniting and unifying the entire building. So the scouts, coaches, everybody is all on the same page with what's being asked of them. The message is very clear. So I can't tip my hat off enough to those two and how they lead us and the way they treat one another for the entire building to see that.
How did you evaluate Mosley's play after coming in against the Vikings, and where have you maybe seen him make the most strides from the beginning of the season to now?
Mosley did a really nice job. You know, he's unflappable. He plays his game. He's got a tremendous mindset to him. He's always striving to get better. It's not always clean, but nobody ever is. But you know, it's no different than Spoon. He's always striving to get better and do things the right way. But for Mosley, his mindset is what makes him tick.
You use the word unflappable. Is that a learned skill or is that a God-given gift?
That's a good question. I think I'm trying to figure that one out myself. I guess the more confidence you get, the more unflappable you'll be, but it's like which came first, the chicken or the egg.
You said your focus was on the team and the coaching, but you did interview with the Browns. They hired someone else. Is there a disappointment in that, or is this process something that you learn from?
No, there's no disappointment. I'm very grateful for the Browns and having me be a part of it, but it's just actually a really big fan of Jimmy Haslam and what he did and what they're going to go through. I think they've got something going. I think they hired the right guy, and they've got a chance to do something special. So I'm excited to see him progress.
Robert, what was your reaction to Kyle being really pumped up and really excited that you did not get the job?
It's like a backhanded compliment, right? No, he's. I know. I don't know if it. A little stumbling for words, but no. Kyle's always been a big supporter. I mean, he supports his staff. He really supports everybody. He is not one to look at a coach and say, "I got to get rid of this dude." His first instinct is to try to make you better and help you get better. And so, to understand Kyle and to work with Kyle is really a gift that I think a lot of people should have once in their life, because of the fact that he's always striving to help you get better. And that's what I think makes this organization tick, is that everybody in this organization is always trying to help each other get better. And because of it, Kyle feels invested in all his coaches, and I do believe him when he says that he's happy because he feels like he's invested in me, which he has, and because of it, I take it as a compliment.
All right, we've got George coming in now.
All right, thanks everybody.
Howdy, how we doing?
Describe the way your ankle feels.
I feel fabulous. Thanks for asking. I feel fabulous. Thanks for asking.
How was the weather today? What was it like out there? Did it hamper anything?
No, definitely don't expect that in California. It was cold and rainy, but it was fun. We made the most of it, and we had an efficient practice. We did what we needed to do. We got our reps in, and ultimately had a good practice.
George, you didn't get as many targets as usual against the Vikings, statistically not one of your big days. Can you usually tell going into a game, like, what sort of opportunities will be available to you?
Yes and no. I mean, based on the game plan, with the plays that Coach Shanahan draws up. But I mean, there's been games where I didn't think I was going to have a lot, and I had 210 yards and a half. So it really just depends on, just how the game goes. I mean, I'm not really worried about it. It takes care of itself. It's football.
The Packers linebackers against the pass might be a weakness of this team. How's the feeling of going for perhaps a big game in your career, because you might have a lot of stats and receiving yards, etc.?
I mean, stats will take care of himself. I'm not really worried about anything. I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to try to play my best football.
I don't know when the last time you got against Jimmy Ward in practice would be probably training camp, but what makes him good at taking away explosive plays?
I mean, Jimmy's, I think, one of the greatest athletes I've ever been on a team with. He's a complete freak of nature. He's incredibly fast. Hi. He's incredibly fast. He's incredibly strong. He's smart, and he's incredibly physical too. He's really an all-around player, and I think we missed a lot last few years. Him being injured really hurt our defense, and just the way he plays the game too. He has so much fun doing it. He's just such a great football player, and having him out there makes our defense a lot better. And the last time we did go one-on-one, I did beat him, so it's okay.
George, if you think about it, you guys essentially traded a year of Jimmy Garoppolo's experience for Nick Bosa, who just popped up at the number 2 overall pick. What kind of trade did that turn out to be for the franchise?
I mean, Nick's not bad. I think he's done a pretty good job so far that he's been here. He's probably going to, just give the NFC West fits for the next 10 years, and I'm really happy that he's on my team and I don't have to go against him every Sunday.
Kyle talked about his natural inclination as a play caller. Younger was, keep it, check it around. But obviously, he's very committed to the run game. And days like Saturday when you just kind of pound the defense into submission. I assume you enjoy that, but how much as an offense do you appreciate, I guess, his ability to do it both ways?
I mean, Coach Shanahan does such a great job. I mean, every pass play we have gets set up by our run game, and so. Luckily this past week we didn't have to set up the pass game at all because our run game was so efficient. But I mean, we definitely had plays out there that we just didn't call because we didn't need to call them. When you're running for 4 yards a carry and you rush it 47 times, you don't really need to throw the ball. So, I mean, what Coach Shanahan does, the balance is always there, and but he's never afraid to run power on back-to-back plays to score a touchdown. I mean, we ran on 3rd and 2 for a 10-yard gain, and we scored on the exact same play, just flipped it the next play. So, it's just fun to be a part of an offense like that where, yeah, we have all the the fun stuff like we did versus Saints, the passes, and Emmanuel's pass to Raheem, but we'll run power down your throat if we want to.
When you're going all the way back to college, how did you develop as a blocker, and when did you realize that one, you kind of liked it, and 2, you were pretty good at it?
Well, I mean, at Iowa, you don't play tight end there unless you can run block. And someone else told it as a freshman. And so I was like, well, I want to play, so I might as well take some pride in this. And, every single day when you do blocks and 9-on-7 for, periods on end, if you don't enjoy it, then you're just going to be miserable. And so I just enjoyed it, and now I'm very prideful in it.
Your experience from, say, divisional games when you face a team the second time, and now you're facing the Packers the second time, do you find it easier because you've seen film on that team, you've played that team, or is it harder now that they know what you bring to the table?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, it's kind of it's what's nice about it is you're like used to the guys you're going against, like you kind of get their moves and stuff. But I mean, defenses change; they prepare for you a lot differently. Our whole scheme from the Arizona game, the first time to the second game, was completely different. I mean, most of our plays were all different and stuff like that. So, but I mean, you know what you're going to go up against. And you know the players a little bit better. So, I made man-to-man coverage. Like, hey, I know how he's going to cover me on this one because I just went against it 2 weeks ago. But I mean, other than that, I mean, you got to still show up and play 60 minutes.
George, the regular season game against the Packers, it looked like a couple of your bigger catches came against zone coverage. I'm just wondering, for a tight end, what's the key, if there is one, to getting open against the zone? Is that something you've gotten better at over the last couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, getting open, I think you get better at once you start playing a lot. But yeah, I mean, zones is just kind of a feel thing. I mean, I actually got better at zone, like finding spots in zones watching Trent Taylor, because I mean, I think he's absolutely incredible at it, and definitely a guy that we've been missing. I would love to have him back, but I mean, yeah, it's just something you get better at. Just watching tape, you see where guys drop. But yeah, I mean, mostly just a feel thing. I mean, you just got to find a soft spot, and what's awesome about Jimmy is such a quick release. He's going to hit you, and you just got to drop, step, and get vertical.
You said last week you expected a short story from your dad,
Mhm.
his weekly letter. Did
Yeah.
you get it?
Oh yeah, I got like 10 pages. It was awesome. I was fired up, ready to roll.
Highlights you can share?
No, actually I can't. Those are mine.
And what do you expect this week?
A little bit longer probably. Yeah, he was on one last week. It was pretty fun. It was a great one. Maybe he'll share it with you guys at some point.
How does he keep it fresh?
I mean, every week is different. It's awesome. Whether it's he's telling a new story, he's bringing in a new like a movie or a book that he read to me as a kid. But I mean, he just always has a different storyline for every single letter, and he builds it up, and then he always just crushes it. I always just get pretty fired up reading those things.
We're living in an era where the tight ends are mostly a receiver, a big receiver. Do you take pride in your, run blocking abilities because you're one of the best in that matter? The 49ers, when you're in the field, have 1 yard per carry more than when you're not on the field. What's your take on that?
I mean, I take pride in my run game. That's how I grade myself in games. Passing yards and receiving yards take care of themselves. So yeah, I mean, I take pride in it. I mean, if we do better with me on the field or not, I mean, it's whatever. I'm just going to go out there every single play and try my best. And we did a pretty good job of that last week.
Is it safe to say your dad, as a former offensive lineman, focuses more on your run blocking than your pass catching?
He doesn't give me too many tips on how to run routes. Yeah, he does not. He doesn't focus on that. But he always gives me, make sure your leverage is good, get your hands inside. No, he's definitely a coach still.
All right, thanks, George.
Thanks, guys.
We got people here for you guys. And then just a heads up, Jimmy will talk in the locker at 2:20. Ooh, 2:20.
Don't all fire at once.
When you guys had D and Nick lining up next to each other, what does that do for you guys on the other side? How does that
Yeah, having two guys that can rush the passer on each side. I mean, it's pretty much the interior guy's dream. You know what I mean? Those offensive tackles got to really kick out, and offense coordinators, they can't really pick really who to double. You got to pick and choose your battles, and if one guy's getting doubled or getting a lot more attention than the other, then the other guys are going to be able to reap the benefits. And being able to have D back, kind of open a lot of that up, this past week when we played the Vikings.
line next to each other a couple times?
Yeah, like the change up and everything with having them, on one side of the line, just to mess around with, offensive linemen. I like to think offensive linemen, they're creatures of habit. So, when they see the same guy over and over and over again, they can really get comfortable in knowing how to set against a certain person. But when you change it up and you put, somebody different, standing up, like somebody like D, over a guard, they kind of freeze up and they're like, oh, I haven't seen this guy all day. And, D's so fast that he can get on the edge real quick in that tiny space. So just being able to change it up, change up the looks, against all the offensive linemen, being able to move guys around is really effective.
Who's the next fastest guy off the ball outside of D?
The next fastest guy off the ball, honestly, I would like to say Solomon. Yeah, so, you see clips. We always watch it throughout practice and everything, and he's almost the number one guy off the ball almost every time. You know what I mean? Just getting off the rock. So I'd say second to D would be Solly.
Had a play last game where he got in there quick.
Yeah, I mean, Solomon's a very explosive player. Third down, he can rush the passer, and also in the run game. Especially going against guards, getting on him quick, and he's a strong dude. So when he has leverage, I mean, he's scary to see inside.
Is there a particular moment with regard to Bosa early on that you realized how special he was going to be?
Yeah, I mean, him coming out, I kind of watched some of his film, and also really throughout training camp, seeing him get better each and every day. Obviously, he was a little rusty when he first came in, OTAs and everything, because he didn't play in about a year and a half maybe, and so, seeing him progress throughout training camp, and then coming out, starting off the season hot. I mean, he's just been a special player to watch.
In this division, in the NFC West, you face some mobile quarterbacks in Murray and Wilson. In what ways is going against Aaron different? He doesn't run as much as, say, Murray or Wilson, but likes to extend plays.
Yeah, he still can extend plays. Obviously getting outside the pocket. He's really good in the pocket with, knowing where the rush is at and trying to, getting out the way and everything. So he can make guys miss and also get outside the pocket and make you pay, kind of like Russell Wilson does. So, we just need to kind of really go. Really take it one play at a time, and go with the same mindset we had the last time we played them, and also last week. I feel like the guys, took it personal on, telling themselves that they weren't going to be blocked, and we have to have that same mindset going into this game.
Do you have any particular memories of watching him when you were, I guess, in high school? He probably started his NFL career.
No, I mean, a couple years ago, I think when they were playing, it might have been Detroit or someone, when he threw that Hail Mary for a touchdown to seal the game. Just little things like that. It was funny because we used to call it, my coach from last year, we'd call it the wrist flick from hell. You know what I mean? He'll get that little, kind of like avoiding rushers and everything. And just you see that wrist flick and you're like, oh Lord. You know what I mean? You kind of see it and somebody's going to come down with it. So, yeah, I mean, he's just a special player.
Who coined that phrase?
It was Scanina last year. He would say that when we were watching film.
That's good. Thank you, Defo.
All right, thank you.
All right. Amateur hour. Nice.
Journey been like for you in front of the fans for the Bay Area? You were a star at Stanford, where they loved you. You went up to Seattle, where maybe they didn't love you so much, and now you're back here in San Francisco, where they love you again. What's that like for you as a player, going through that kind of a journey?
Honestly, it's all the same for me. There are certain people in your corner that love you regardless, and those are the only people's opinions that matters to me. I go out there every day and try to execute my job. And play hard, and regardless, the chips are going to fall. People are going to like you. People are going to hate you, et cetera, et cetera. Neither one of those opinions matter. The opinions that matter to me are the people who are in my corner regardless, and those people have been happy either way.
With regard to Bosa, early on, was there a moment that just opened your eyes and you realized how special he was going to be?
I can't think of a individual moment. He's been so consistent since he got here, especially in training camp and obviously throughout the season. But I think, just his mannerisms, the way he carries himself, the way he practices, his effectiveness, play in and play out, have really been eye-opening for a rookie, because you you find yourself forgetting that he's a rookie most of the time. until you really think about it. Because he doesn't play like a rookie, he doesn't carry himself like a rookie, and he doesn't move, he doesn't act like a rookie in any way. So it's really a testament to him, his family, everybody who's helped him get to this point and develop this mentality.
A lot of the guys on this team have said how close a group this is and how unusual it is, in, at least for the veterans, their experience. You're one of the veterans. Do you find the cohesiveness, the chemistry on this team different than what you've experienced maybe in the past?
I've been on some pretty tight teams, but this is right up there with them. This is a family atmosphere, and guys care about one another. Guys go out there and fight for one another. Guys care about each other on and off the field. So that is really cool, and it's really special to be a part of.
Aside from winning, how do you create that?
Well, we had it before we were winning. So I guess you'd have to talk to Kyle and John about that. You know, getting the right guys. That's a big part of it. Guys who care about football, guys who want to do everything they can to win, guys that are selfless, guys that are compassionate, guys that show humility to one another. You know, it's a lot of factors that I'm sure that they study on an individual level that make for a great team.
Is the person you are in the locker room and the person you are at home the same as the person you are on the field, or do you have a persona that you get into when you play football?
I don't really know how to explain that. I don't know how to answer that because I'm the same person regardless. I'm in the same body, you know, no matter what. But I think you treat people and carry yourself differently in all three phases. One of them, you're on a battlefield. You're there to do a job. In the locker room, you're a different person because you're around your teammates. You're there for a purpose. And at home, you know, once again, the circumstances changes. That's like me asking, you know, a person, hey, as a lawyer, are you the same way in the courtroom as you are with your wife? You know what I mean? It's going to be a different kind of approach for him. It's going to be a different preparation, a different seriousness, a different tone. You know, so it's difficult for me to say, oh, man, I'm the same as I am in the locker room, at home, and on the field, you know, because there's three different fields of life.
Kyle and Cecile definitely compete in practice, you know, offense versus defense. I've heard that, you know, sometimes they you know, Kyle challenges them in the meeting rooms. Have you seen that? What's that dynamic like with those two?
Honestly, on the practice field, it's not much to see. You know, they both kind of just do their jobs. There's a few conversations here and there early on in practice, but for the most part, you know, Kyle's running the offense, Cyle's running the defense. Kyle comes over for a few throws during our install period on Thursdays and Fridays, and usually that's it for them on the field, honestly.
What do you think Aaron, the quarterback he is?
What
makes Aaron the quarterback he is, and how tough is he to prepare for?
Well, he throws an incredible football. You know, he has a quick release. He's very accurate. He throws a great deep ball. He's mobile. He's great at creating. He's great at diagnosing the defense. He has all the tools that you look for in an elite quarterback, and he's done it for a number of years.
Richard, when you look at yourself, you're a very competitive person. Aaron's known as being very competitive as well. How would you characterize your competitions against him over the years?
I'd say it's been intense. You know, it's been very competitive, I guess, for lack of better words. We played quite a few times, and the games are always good. It's rarely any blowouts one way or the other. But it's always a chess match with him, and you gotta pick your spots carefully.
The only receivers that have been targeted more than Devontae Adams are Michael Thomas and Julio Jones. Do you get up for a guy like that? Do you want him on your side, or what goes into that?
I don't care either way. I'm trying to win the football game. I'm not trying to win the individual matchup. Individual matchups I don't really care about them. At the end of the day, it's about winning football games. So he's a great player. He's somebody that we obviously got to be account where he is on the field at all times. But in terms of individual matchups, it means nothing to me.
When's the last time you shadowed somebody on the right side?
Sure, I don't know. You'd have to go back and look at the tape. I've done it a few times. Probably Julio in 2016, the playoffs, probably.
Richard, you have never lost a conference championship game. I believe that's correct. Is there anything different about preparing for this game, this level of the season, as opposed to any other game?
Not for me. It's nothing different. You know, you got to get your preparation. You got to, like I said before, you got to go out there and execute. It sounds boring and rudimentary, but honestly, that's what it comes down to. Either you're going to execute or you're not. The people who treat this game as more than what it is, those are usually the people that lose.
Did you notice halfway you moved to the right side with Thielen last game?
Probably if they were in triples or something.
It wasn't a scheme.
No, it wasn't a scheme thing. It was just we were in man coverage. There were two receivers on the field. He was one of the receivers. I had to guard the receiver. He just happened to be on his side.
Did you mirror Anquan Bolden when you played the Niners like 5-6
Yeah,
years ago?
yeah, a couple of years ago. That was in like 14 or something like that, 13. Yeah, I mirrored him. I've mirrored AJ Green, Julio a few times. You know, like I said, we don't draw up the defense. So I don't call the defense. The coach tells me what to do, I do it. For me to say, oh man, I want this guy, I don't really care. Does it help us win the game? Is it going to help the defense? Is it going to help us limit their explosives? Then I'll do it. If it's not, if it doesn't make a difference, if it's better for me to be on the side, then that's what I'm going to do. You know, I love it how people are like, oh my God, these guys need to do this. Well, I'm going to let you know something. You go to your job and tell your boss what you're going to do and what you're not going to do and see how long you last. At the end of the day, you know, Salah and Cal, you know, Salah calls the defense. If Salah comes up to me and says, hey, you follow this guy everywhere he goes, then that's what I'm going to do. If he doesn't, then guess what? I'm going to do what he's told me to do. You know, that's how coaching and player relationships work, you know. And it just so happens we have the #1 pass defense in the league. Whoa, oh my God, it's crazy. It's crazy that you're not following anybody, but somehow you have the #1 pass defense in the league. Almost like our strategy works. It's almost like you're an idiot for doing it any other way. It's almost like you're dumb if you do it another way. It's almost like people have been saying, oh, do it this way for so long, but they don't have a #1 defense. But whatever, I'm crazy.
So you don't just go rogue and be like, guys, I got a feeling
Right. I don't just go rogue like, hey, this is their guy. I'm going to do it this week. Like, it doesn't make a difference to me. You know what I mean? Like I said, we've had the #1 pass defense in this league, and we haven't done it. So, you know, until you start telling me that a great left tackle is following pass rushers wherever they go, oh, my God, Everson Griffin's lined up over the guard. Tell Joe to go in there and block him. Oh, my God, he's lined up over the right. Tell Joe to go to the right. You know what I mean? Until that starts happening, you know, miss me with it.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
What strikes out about going up against Aaron Jones again, and what kind of runner he is?
Yeah, Aaron's been fantastic all season, very explosive runner. You know, I feel like he's very dynamic. They use him in a lot of ways, so I think, you know, they're for sure going to want to get the ball in his hands come Sunday.
Racking up a lot of touchdowns. Is there something that you see in him as he gets close to the goal line?
Yeah, I mean, he's just determined, honestly. I mean, the dude is extremely fast. You know, he's elusive, so he's going to take more than just one guy to bring him down.
You look back on that game against them, analytically, well, what did you think you guys did especially well?
I think we're assignment sound. You know, in the run game, I feel like everybody was, you know, assignment sound in their gaps. For me, it was just a matter of going into an open A gap. You know, they were doubling our big guys up front, especially, you know, guys like DJ Jones. He didn't get talked about a lot that game, but I mean, he was a huge factor. And so I just had to run up and make tackles in the inside gaps.
What do you think of Luke Kuechly retiring?
Yeah, sure. Luke, one of the best to ever do it. You know, it was a pretty big shock to me, but I mean, I understand. I know there's probably a lot of reasons why he made the decision he made. So, you know, that's a guy that I've studied closely. You know, just the way he studied the game and played at such a high level with the amount of passion that he's played with. So, my hat's off to him.
Can you describe what it's been like this week? Because I see people, players, you're dancing, you're singing, you're still enjoying it as if it was the very first game of the season, and there doesn't seem to be much pressure.
Yeah, I think the pressure comes from if you make the situation bigger than it is. You know, it's funny. We were all talking about it just the other day, how, you know, last game, it kind of just felt like another week, even though there was, you know, the stakes are high and there's a lot on the line. We don't treat it as such. We treat it like it's another week. The routine doesn't change. Our preparation doesn't change. So, you know, I think the same could be said this week. You know, we're just going about business, but we're having fun doing it.
What areas of your game do you think you've improved the most over the course of the season so far?
I mean, I feel like kind of just with experience, just feeling more confident in my role in the system. I feel like I don't want to talk about what I've improved upon, but I always think about what I can do better. You know, I'm pretty hard on myself, but as I continue to get more experience, I feel like that's when I make more plays and I play a lot faster.
After the last Green Bay game, what when you look back at that game, what did you learn from it that you thought you could improve on?
That we did well, or yeah, we stopped the run, obviously, which we try to do every week. You know, it's easier said than done, but I think they kind of went away from the run early on, so it turned into a matter of our guys up front trying to get home and them trying to complete passes down the field. And so I think it was a full team win, though. Our offense did an outstanding job throughout the game. Special teams made plays too, so we're looking to have a complete game this time around.
Back to Keekly real quick. I mean, he and Patrick Willis both retired after 8 seasons. You're 2 years into an ascending career. How do you see your career playing out? What do you want to get out of it?
I think when you're young, you think you're going to play forever, right? You know, that's the dream is to play in the NFL, and you think you're going to play 20 years. But when you're in it, you know it's a violent game at the end of the day, you know, and so you take your body takes a lot of toll on it. But I would always try and just play one day at a time. Take it one day at a time. I don't try and think too far ahead because, your career could be over in a matter of seconds. So, I just take it one day at a time.
That's good. Thanks, Brad.
Cool.
No.
Understandably, yeah, I don't have to go in this way. Thank you.
Oh, Jesus.
Running routes because we can do all. I feel like that's the way the NFL was moving.
They're very talented. It's really the whole front. I mean, not just those two, but they're a big part of it. And they do a lot of different things. So they give them an opportunity to rush the passer. Sometimes they're dropping, and it makes it tough on us.
You have guys like Eric out there. He had a great performance earlier in the season, but just to have this defense performing at this level, how easy does that make your job?
Oh yeah, it definitely helps. Just the style of football we play, the complementary football. It's just whenever you can have the defense playing like that and getting you the ball back quickly, it always makes it easy.
Did you ever feel that kind of reception like you did on Saturday here at the stadium?
With the crowd?
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know. It was pretty loud. They were rocking. It was a fun atmosphere to be a part of. So, looking forward to Sunday. Should be very similar.
Jimmy, when you face a team a second time, whether it's a divisional game or playoff game, do you find it easier the second time having prepared for them once or harder because they know who you get?
It's whenever you have to do that, it's always different the second time. It's a lot of the cat and mouse. We think they're going to do this, they think we're going to do that type of thing, and just the back and forth with it. But at the end of the day, you got to go out there and play and react to what's happening on the field.
You had a lot of experience in the previous championship games with New England as a backup. How's that helping now?
I think, just the preparation standpoint, seeing things from afar in New England, and just what it takes to win those type of games, I think will help us with this one.
Jimmy, do you call Kyle, or do you call him Coach?
Just Kyle.
And then, John, I ask that because I hear a lot of guys, it's not like Coach this or Mr. Lynch that or anything like that. It's Kyle and John. Does that speak to just how the atmosphere here?
Yeah, I never really put much thought into it, but I guess so. It's just, everyone, we're all on the same playing field. We're all, in this together. And so if you could, everyone acts the same, treat everyone the same, I think it's a good atmosphere.
Jimmy, how would you describe just the ride of this season with this team? And I know you still have more work to do, but taking in a moment for all that you guys have accomplished.
Yeah, it's crazy to look back on it. We've just watching tape and things like that, and you see clips from October or whatever. It seems like a lifetime ago, but it's been a whirlwind of a season, especially just personally coming back from the ACL and everything. But it's a great group of guys to go to battle with, and I wouldn't ask for anyone else.
Kyle said it hit him.
Did you feel like it was going to be a special team and you were building something special?
I think you always kind of have that feeling before the season. I wouldn't say there was a real, exact point during the season that it clicked, but just the tightness of this group, how the offense, defense, and special teams all interact with each other. It's just, it makes for a good group to be around.
Kyle seemed to think that, I guess it was the Ram game that was going to kind of hit him, where he's like, wow, this is, man, we got something special here. You buying that?
First one or second one? What do you say?
First one.
First one.
Ram.
Yeah, that was a big game for us. I mean, we've had a lot of big games, but just division opponent, at their place and everything, and the way everyone played and the way the defense dominated made for a really fun afternoon.
It seemed like the last couple seasons you guys were so close and on the wrong side of those 2-minute finishes. This year, you guys are on the winning side. What changed?
I wouldn't say there was anything that drastically changed. I think, just it comes down to execution. The coaches are always going to put us in a good position to be successful, and the players, it's our job to, go out there and execute it. And late in games, the last couple of years didn't really work out, but this year it's just, guys are locked in and taking it seriously.
How big is the confidence factor?
I think confidence always plays a role. You can't overdo it, I guess. You got to be confident, but at the same time, you got to, put in the work. I mean, this is a good football team coming in here, and we know that.
When did you feel this team was special, that it could go a long way in this season?
I never really, I never really put too much thought into it. We're so wrapped up with the season and everything that you're just trying to get on the next game plan, things like that, and, get ready for the next opponent.
What's it like being in the spotlight?
I don't know, part of the gig, comes with the job, I guess.
What's you talk about being part of the spotlight and going against a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers? What does that have to feel like for you? Because obviously they bring up the tweets that you tweeted about in 2012 and comparing yourself to him. Like, what is it like now to be playing for a chance of the Super Bowl against him?
It's really cool. It's a great opportunity, especially, Aaron, I've said it before, but he's, one of the best to ever do it. Tremendous competitor, fun to watch. I mean, all that stuff. So, we got a good opportunity here Sunday, so it'll be fun.
Jimmy,
two more guys?
Mike McGlinchey was just saying it kind of pisses him off to hear what he thinks the media and everybody's saying. Aaron Rodgers is the greatest. He's a Hall of Famer. Jimmy's just not in his league. Does it bother you to hear people compare you to Rodgers unfavorably?
No. I mean, you got to listen to, who's saying it and everything like that, and just, take it for what it is.
Jimmy,
despite your pisses off McGlinchey that he hears that.
Whenever my old lineman pissed off, it's always a good thing. So,
Jimmy,
for me at least.
Despite your big numbers, some people say that you still have to give this big game. How do you think about that? What do you think?
Like I just said, you kind of have to listen to who's saying the stuff. Not all of it carries a lot of weight, and it's just, got to go out here and treat it like any other game. Go do what we do and take care of our business.
All right, thanks, Jimmy.
Thanks, Jimmy. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jimmy. Really appreciate it. Okay, no problem. Thanks, Jimmy.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Shows up.
That's the most unbelievable part about being here.
I normally, Charles Woodson's the most confident guy that I've ever dealt with in 30 years.
Yep.
I'm getting my first exposure to you guys, and
I'm getting the
There's
same
nobody
vibe.
more confident than 25.
I'm getting the same vibe from him.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm going to say. That's what I was going to say. I'm just curious what that does for a team. A guy with that kind of credibility, that kind of confidence that comes into your place.
It makes everybody want to elevate to his level. You know, he's one of the greatest to ever do it. And when you have a guy that is that way, with that kind of prowess, that works the way he does, and then helps his team out the way that he does, you know, it makes everybody want to be like that. And when you play as confident and as at such a high level like he does, it kind of trickles down to everybody, and that's what's really cool about what Richard does for our football team.
You know, when I see him in here and when he's talking to you guys, he's so calm and taking
That's more important.
All right, that's it, guys. Thank you. Thanks, Jimmy.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Tracy.
I know, but
Oh my God.
Imagine all the likes you.
your ex-manager stole my World Series.
I don't care.
I mean, that is the funniest picture of Georgia.
I thought he sent it to me. Someone sent it to me now.
Oh, he 100%. That's a little.
He had no return.
Oh, he sent it to you.
That's what I said. He get one of you. No.
There's a